some people in life are just winners, right? Some people are just winners. And what I mean by that is, hey, every now and then somebody might win, but winning is different from being a winner. Think about it. I'm sure you've thought you can think of somebody. Maybe you're this person who it seems like no matter what they do, they are constantly winning. And you just look at them and say, how is it that they're not losing at anything? It's because they are a winner, right? I love Remember the Titans, Denzel Washington, that one line he says, I'm a winner. I'm going to win, right? It's the nature, the essence of who they are, right? So what I want to do for you guys today is I want to break this down, right? I'm not going to give you this other people always talking about, oh, winners do this, they outwork people, they have the mentality. I'm not going to give that to you. I'm going to give you the real, I'm going to break it down, some science behind this, like some real chemical, neurochemical type of stuff, right? And teach you how you can consciously control some of these things so you can step up your winning, right? Some deep stuff, deep stuff. All right, let's dive into it. But hey, before we do, if you like this, if you like what I'm about to give you, if you think you're gonna like what I'm about to give you, and if you like what I've given you in the past, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, right? Let's grow this channel. Let's grow this presence so I can impact hopefully more lives and keep on bringing you more stuff, right? More likes, more subscribers. The more I can bring you more great stuff. If you don't like it, I'll tell you what, go ahead and subscribe anyways, all right? But let's dive into this. Let me hit record on my notes here. And hopefully I'll put this up. As always, you know I'm a doctor. You know writing ain't my thing, so forgive my handwriting, right? But what I want to do, what am I going to? I'm going to call this. It's not even necessarily the mindset. So I'm going to call this the mind of a winner, right? The mind of a winner, and you'll see why in a second here. I'm going to go through some stuff and we're going to break down some stuff for you, okay? And you know, when I teach, I like to put it in ways that will make sense that you can remember. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the letters W-I-N, win, but I'm going to do it backwards, okay? I'm going to do it backwards. I'm going to bring it down to the one that I believe is the most important at the end of the day, right? So I'm going to go N-I-W, but you'll still remember it because it's W-I-N, the same letters, right? So the first thing about winners, which is crazy, and I don't think they even realize this, they talk about this, you hear them talk about this all the time, but I don't think they realize what they're doing, a lot of them, right? I say they, I like to say we, put myself in that category, right? Winners are neurochemically aware. It's funny, I say I don't think they realize this. What I mean is they're neurochemically aware, but I don't think they understand like the basics, the science, and things behind it, right? So I'm going to tell you this right now. When we talk about winners, there's certain things that are going on in your body when you're winning, when you become addicted to winning, when you get really good at winning and go from winning to being a winner, right? The essence of who you are, the state of somebody who wins. That's a winner, right? So there's a few things you got to think about here from a neurochemically aware perspective, right? There's chemicals in your body. It's not like, oh, I'm just winning and things are going great. There are neurotransmitters happening in your body that are, in a sense, they're controlling or influencing the way you feel, the way you behave, the actions you take. I'm going to just list a few of them out here for you, right? So the first one is dopamine. A lot of you all probably have heard of dopamine before. So dopamine is kind of like your reward neurotransmitter, right? So something good happens, your brain releases dopamine and says, oh, I like that, give me some more, right? Something good happens again, dopamine, I like that, give me some more. Winners find ways to better control your dopamine release, right? So what might this look like? This might look like winning small battles, getting incremental wins. The other day I was watching a little clip on Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was talking about this idea of goals. He says, kids are setting goals and they don't even realize what they're really doing. He said that, from a young age, you might be like, oh, I want to learn how to make a layup. I want to learn how to make a left-hand layup. I want to learn how to do a reverse layup, right? I want to dunk. I want to make my team's varsity team. And they just keep on going up and up and setting goals. What they're doing with these incremental goals really is they're conditioning your body to set a goal, achieve that goal, dopamine release, right? And that's even a bigger thing. Imagine doing even on more incremental steps, right? You go to the gym and say, all right, I want to make a layup. You make that layup, you feel good. I want to make 5 layups. You make 5 layups, you feel good. What's happening is your body's being rewarded. And part of the way your body rewards itself is releasing dopamine. And dopamine makes you feel good on the inside, right? Dopamine is a feel-good neurotransmitter, right? So winners, in a sense, whether they understand it or not, they're aware of the incremental wins and how it makes them feel. And they learn to utilize that. They learn to practice incrementally. They learn to do, okay, let me do this, rather than say, oh, I'm going to look at this huge, big picture. They learn to leverage dopamine as their reward neurotransmitter, whether or not they realize it. They are neurochemically aware of that feeling, right? Another neurotransmitter, serotonin. So serotonin is the thing, depression's a real thing. It's a really big thing in the United States, at least. And a lot of patients who are depressed might be on serotonin medications, right? SSRIs, SNRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So things that try to increase the level of serotonin in your body, because serotonin, when you have lower levels, is associated with depression, poor self-perception, low self-esteem, right? So the way that some people can help boost that is they get external validation, right? And they leverage that external validation. So, sometimes you always hear about affirmations, which are great. I believe your affirmations. I believe in affirmations from other people to you, right? You got to cheer your kids on. You got to applaud your kids, things of that sort, right? In the job place, you want to be applauded, because when you're getting this from the external, it comes to you and it helps you feel good about yourself. It boosts your confidence. And that in part is the serotonin working. And again, whether or not they know what's happening, winners are aware of the importance of external validation. However, even more important is finding a way to control the external validation yourself. I heard this too recently. They were talking about social media. The problem with this generation's athletes specifically, and I use athletes a lot because it's easy for people to relate to that. However, this goes, my primary audience who I'm talking to, you all are professionals, right? Right. The companies I run, a lot of them are for healthcare professionals, but I know you all aren't all healthcare professionals, but you all are professionals. So, but I use athletes to help you understand. And I was watching this thing. It was talking about the issue with social media nowadays is kids will do a move or whatever, say a nice basketball move. They'll post that move and they're waiting to see how many likes, how many followers, how many followers, how many followers, how many likes, how many people commented on it. And then they get so dependent on that external validation, and that's what's giving them part of the serotonin boost and this confidence and the self-esteem. And when they don't get that external validation, sometimes they might get lost and not know how to deal with it. So here's the deal: athletes learn, in a sense, to control that validation on their own. So what might they do? They might have a recording of their own highlight tape and they might play that back. So what does that look like for a professional, a business professional, a healthcare professional like I am? What does that look like? That might look like you replaying things in your mind of great wins you had. I'm a public speaker, right? I travel the country and I speak. So for me, that might look like me being on stage and just seeing the moment I just killed it on stage and the crowd got so excited, right? I start to replay these things, which are in a sense external, but I control it for myself. And that causes a certain release of neurochemicals, neurotransmitters, serotonin. It gives me that self-esteem, right? That positive self-perception of myself. And when you learn how to better control that, that can take you to a place of winning more. So you got dopamine, you've got serotonin, um, you've got a lot of stuff. I can't go through all of them, but you got cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone, right? So when you're under stress, you do things. You release certain hormones, and cortisol is one of these things that you release. And cortisol can really help you. First of all, it literally changes the physiology of your body, right? Things to deal with fluid balance, blood pressure, stuff like that. It prepares you for a battle, prepares you for that stressful event. Right, cortisol does that. And I'm gonna go ahead on here. Cortisol. I'm gonna add norepinephrine. I'm just gonna write NE because I don't want to spell out norepinephrine and epinephrine, adrenaline. Right, epinephrine, adrenaline. Right, these things that you think about with your sympathetic response, your flight or fight. These things are hormones, neurotransmitters that are being released to prepare your body for performance. Performance. And here's a great example in terms of how the greatest winners are aware. Michael Jordan. If you go back and if you watch The Last Dance, they talk about how Michael Jordan was like maniacal. Like the man would make up. This is what they say in The Last Dance, right? I ain't talked to Mike myself, right? But this is what they say in The Last Dance. The man would make up stories in his mind to get him triggered for the game, right? So he might be on the court just looking at somebody. He might start thinking like, man, what'd you say about my mom? Like what'd you say about my mama, right? Or what? I'm making this one up, but just something like that to trigger him about a game. He might go around saying, yeah, this person said this about me, that they could beat me, they were better than me. It's not even true. Just making stuff up in his mind. Why is he doing that? He's doing that because he wants to start triggering these neurotransmitters, these hormones. He's triggering in his body, and in doing so, that's preparing his body for the battle, right? There's a whole lot more. I'm not going to go through all of them, but testosterone, right? Testosterone. This gives you an edge, right? This is about, I don't know if I'm spelling all this stuff right, but I don't think so. Edge. Oh my goodness. Whatever. You guys get what I'm saying, right? Testosterone gives you that edge. And that leads to, I was trying to go back and erase that, but there it is. Yeah, so testosterone is going to give you that edge, right? And that's going to be, when I say edge, I'm talking about competitive, how you spell competitiveness, right? So that's what that's about there, right? Testosterone. And there's a lot of neurotransmitters, hormones, but the point I'm making is athletes become neurochemically aware, and whether or not they know the exact science behind this, they practice things, they do things like that Michael Jordan example I just gave you. They do things to trigger these, right? So to become a winner at the highest level, in a sense, you want to learn how to leverage your body, what God has already put in your body, these neurochemicals, neurotransmitters. Don't just let them run wild and do whatever they want. Learn how to focus and trigger these yourself, right? Learn how to trigger these yourself. And when you can do it, that's a whole different ballgame. I told you guys, I'm not just telling you the basic stuff you hear all the time about winning. This is a different level ball game, right? I had to look at Michael Jordan. I had to go back and watch these things to come to this realization. This man is triggering neurotransmitters and trying to control them himself in his body to take him to a higher level. It's not just him, right? It's Kobe's people in the business world, right? Even people, speakers, like you hear Tony Robbins talking about certain things he does, right? That's what you're doing. They are triggering neurotransmitters, neurochemicals to control them, to bring them to a higher level of performance. Winners are neurochemically aware, and that's a whole different ballgame of competition. That's a whole different ballgame of competition right there, right? The second thing, let's go from the end. Let's go to the I. So winners are innovative, right? Winners are innovative. Here's the deal, innovative, I'm gonna say innovative, and I'm gonna say adaptable, right? They're innovative and adaptable. To become a winner at the highest level, things are gonna be thrown at you. The lay of the land is not always gonna be in your favor, right? Right. And if it was, that would be no fun. Right. The lay of the land, things are not always going to be fair. It's going to be challenges, things thrown at you, purposefully trying to knock you off. Right. In order to get past those, winners have to know how to innovate. They have to be adaptable. They have to be able to figure out new ways to do things in the current circumstance. Right. In the tech world, they talk about disruptors. Right. They're innovators, they're disruptors. That's the word that those of you, my tech friends watching, that's what you'll understand. Disruptors. Right. One of the best examples I can think of in the world of basketball is Steph Curry. Right, Steph Curry. I was watching just the other day. I saw a little old clip of his mom at the game, and she's filming the game, and Steph's out there all tiny playing with all these other big kids, and somebody sitting next to his mom in the crowd says, "How old is he?" And she's like, "He's 15, but he's just tiny. He hasn't hit puberty," something like that, right? So I was concerned. We talked to the doctor, so everybody knows the Steph Curry, the underdog story about him being so small and tiny, with everybody else being huge and him having to wait and kind of grow into his body to fill out. But in the process of Steph development, now you look at Steph like, oh, he's 6'3", he's strong, but it wasn't like that before, right? So what did Steph have to do? He innovated. And when I say innovate, he innovated with threes, 3-pointers, right? So he changed the game of basketball by bringing the deep three to the game. Before Steph Curry, people weren't shooting these crazy far, long 3-pointers, right? He completely changed the game. He said, okay, this game is not built for somebody like me. It's a lot of tall folks, a lot of giants. I can't really battle down here, down low, get in the paint, and do this thing. So what do I need to do? I need to innovate. So he brought something brand new to the game that's completely taken over the game of basketball. Now teams are all about shooting threes. Why is that? That's because of this guy right here, Steph Curry. He innovated. He was adaptable. He said, okay, this is what I want to do, but I don't see a clear path to be able to do it. So I'm going to find a way to do it, find a way to make it happen. I'm going to innovate. That's what winners do. Right. That's what winners do. When it seems like there's no clear path, they innovate. And I've got, you guys know I love my Bible now, right? So I got this Bible verse, which it comes from Isaiah 43, and it's when it's about God's deliverance of a rebellious Israel, right? So Israel's is really not following God, and God, of course, gives them chance and chance and chance again. But eventually, God just basically lets them know, hey, look, I know y'all aren't gonna do it on yourselves, so I got you. And then God says, look, I'm about to do something new. Even now it is coming. Do you not see it? Indeed, I will make a way in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. Look, I am about to do something new. Even now it is coming. Do you not see it? Check it out. Indeed, I will make a way in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. This is what Steph Curry did in the NBA. He made a way in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. What do I mean by that? Of course, Steph Curry is not God, but what I'm trying to say is when it seems as though there's no way to go, there's everything, the odds are stacked completely against you, making a new way. That's what God is saying. I'm going to make a way, making a new way. That's what winners do. They don't accept no for an answer, but rather they make new ways. They innovate, they come through and they disrupt, right? And that's huge because, and this is the essence of a winner. You think about Steph Curry, I think 4 championships at this point in time as I'm recording this, 4 NBA championships for a guard. Guards usually don't lead your teams to championships like that. But you think about what he did. You think about what it really means to be able to innovate. It's not just like, oh, he got lucky, he figured out. No. Winners, for him to do this is, this is decades of preparing, right? Decades of preparing. The innovation is not just something small, that it's a real thing. It's real thought, real effort, real practice. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about innovative. You think Jordan, let's go back to Jordan. Jordan innovated in the fashion of strength training, right? Jordan and strength training. What do I mean by that? I mean, back when Jordan was getting beat up by Detroit Pistons, bad boys, he couldn't beat them. He said, okay, in order for me to beat them, I've got to get stronger. So Jordan brought this idea of really physical strength training to the NBA, or he's the one who kind of made it popular. He got his trainer, Tim Grover, and he really started going at that. That's a way of innovating and showing you how winners do things. So ask yourself, how can I innovate where I'm at on the job, in my business? I know a lot of you guys watching this are probably entrepreneurs, people working on building your own thing up. How can you innovate in a different way? Look at the landscape, see what's out there, study the gaps, and how can you innovate and bring something that's going to have lasting success into the field, right? That's what winners do, right? That's what winners do. That's what I'm doing that. I've got my companies, right? I'm doing that right now in my own life with the healthcare professionals that I help. We innovate, we find new ways for us to win, to help them win. Right. The third mind of a thing that the mind of a winner does is they worship. And this one's the most important. That's why I put it last. Right. I could have easily flipped it around and done it and win so you would understand. But I guess I could have put it first to show you that it's the most important. But I'm putting it last because it's the foundation, it's the bedrock of all this. Right. They worship a higher power. They worship a higher power. This is what winners do. Here's the deal. I'm going to write this down. It's important. At some point, winning is not enough. At some point, winning is not enough. I remember hearing, I think it was Tom Brady said something to the effect of, man, I've won 7 Super Bowl championships and all these awards, accolades. I feel like it's got to be more, right? I forgot exactly what he said, but it was to the effect of, man, I won all this stuff and that's it. That's it. Right? Like he's been through that. And this is like just winning. But it's kind of like, that's it. At some point, winning is not enough. Right? So what is it? Like when people are winning, what are they trying to do? They're trying to find that validation. They're trying to fill this void of meaning in their lives. And what you have to realize is the purpose of all of this. I'm going to start this one. It's God. We're here for God. We're here for God. And the people that win at the highest levels that I've always seen, if you dig deep enough in them, you see that they have this understanding that there's a higher being, a higher power to worship. And think about Kobe. When Kobe died, man, remember what was Kobe doing the morning of his death? Do you remember? They said the morning of his death, he and his daughter had gone to I believe they went to confession or something. Now, whether or not you agree with the Catholic faith, I think it was Catholic faith, whether or not you agree with his faith, his religion, the point I'm making is they went somewhere to show to a higher power. They went somewhere to show their humanity to a higher power, say, hey, you're above me, I worship you. That type of thing, right? To say, I'm not in charge. And man, look in the Bible, like David, King David. Right? You think about King David. You're talking about winning. Think about how many battles and wars this man won. King David in the Bible, of course, Jesus is that guy. But, after that, from just somebody who's Jesus like us too. I won't say somebody who's just like us, but you know what I mean, right? I'm not counting Jesus in this. After that, David's kind of the guy. Like David is him, right? So you think about David, how much he won, right? But then go through and read the book of Psalms. This man is pouring his heart out to a higher power and relying on this higher power to bring him through, to get him there. Even Jesus, right? Even Jesus, right? Luke 22, I won't necessarily go there, but in Luke 22, right, when Jesus is in the garden and preparing to to be taken away and taken to crucifixion, the man is sweating blood, hematidrosis or hemidrosis, however you would say it. The man is sweating, but this is a real condition. People read like, whatever. No, this is a real medical condition under extreme pressure, right? Science has shown us that it's possible to sweat blood, and the Bible talks about this. It talks about Jesus' sweat was like blood. The man is sweating blood. That's how much pressure, that's how much stress he was under. And what did he do? He prayed and appealed to the highest power. And yes, Jesus, I believe, is God, but he prayed to his Father, who he said his Father had given him authority, right? He prayed to his Father, right? Sweating blood. And this is Jesus we're talking about. Appeals, worship, right? Winners at the highest level understand that there is a power above them, right? Because what happens when you understand that, there's a power above you, that's where you can really find your purpose in all this. That's what Brady was talking about. It's like, I want so much, but what is there, right? What people are looking for purpose, and understanding what your life's purpose is comes from the higher power. And I didn't plan on going into this. I'll make a different video for this, but what I want you all to also understand this idea of kingdoms and dominions and domains, right? I believe that all of us have been given a domain. God has given all of us a domain. So you have to figure out, what is your domain? What are you supposed to have dominion over, right? What area of authority has God put for you, right? For me right now, I know part of my domain is this idea of helping healthcare professionals go beyond what they believe they can go, right? That's part. I'm over this area right now, and not just healthcare professionals, but just professionals, business people who have this mind to become great, right? That's part of my domain. So I have some dominion within that space, and then the idea is, can you become the king of that domain? King of a domain, that's your kingdom. It doesn't mean you're over all of it, right? But what's your portion within it? What is your kingdom, right? And that's why worshiping a higher power, understanding who God is, doing your best to develop this relationship with God, because that will help you find your purpose, right? Your purpose. And once you have your purpose, then you can figure out what your domain is. And then once you understand your domain, then you can try to become the king of your domain, which will give you your kingdom. And that's not to say that I'm not talking about, I need you guys to follow me. I probably shouldn't have done this because I just kind of rushed this here. I need to take time. I'll probably make a separate video for this. But essentially, I'm not saying like, oh, you're going to be a king. Da, da, da. I'm saying, hey, like, God knows what God has for you. Your kingdom might be a small little sector within a big thing. Your kingdom might be a big sector within something. I don't know. But figure out what your purpose is, your domain is, what you were called to rule over and dominate over, and that is your kingdom for you. We're not ruling over other people. We're ruling over the activities and ideas within our domain, our kingdom, right? All right, so let's recap. The mind of a winner. This is some good stuff, man. This is some good stuff. Y'all go back, watch this over again, right? Take notes on this yourself. This is some good stuff. If you can figure this out, if you can live like this, you can be a winner, right? Recap. So winners are neurochemically aware, right? This is taken to a whole nother level. There are neurochemicals, neurotransmitters in our bodies, dopamine, serotonin, testosterone, cortisol, yada, yada, yada. And if you can get to the point where you can figure out how to better control these consciously and become neurochemically aware, that helps with your performance significantly. No question about it. That helps with your performance significantly, right? Second, winners are innovators. Winners are innovators. You're constantly adapting and innovating and finding new ways, right? I will make a way in the desert, right? Winners are making ways in the desert. Not the same way God does, but in their own ways within their own domains, right? Third, most important, winners worship a higher power. Winners that do this at the highest level, they worship a higher power and they understand their place and position to that higher power, because that higher power gives them purpose, allows them to know what their domain is, allows them to become the king of their domain. It is their kingdom. For a while, Michael Jordan was the king within this world of basketball. The NBA was his kingdom. He was the king of his domain, right? What is your domain? Can you become the king of that domain? In order for you to know that, you have to understand that that domain is given to you by a higher power. Winners are neurochemically aware. Winners innovates, and winners worship a higher power. Man, that's some good stuff. I hope you all taking notes. Put it to action. Right. Hey, thanks for watching. You already know what I'm going to ask you. Hit that subscribe button. Help me get these subs up. I want to make more videos for you. I want to keep on bringing you guys this fire that can change your life. All right. Hit that subscribe button. Like, share, all that great stuff. And remember, you have permission to be great. I'm praying for you guys, and I love you.